This just in, Buster is the big tobacco industry.
I am not.
This just in, I have the house to just me and Goose, my cat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice cat.
This
Oh,
just
my
in, Cody is in the pocket of big weed.
How's Goose doing?
No, I'm out of weed and I'm into alcohol right now because it's what my roommate left me for watching the cat.
Oh. I'm eating Pocky.
I'm eating Takis.
I'm eating,
on August the 26th, I'm seeing Poppy.
Oh, cool.
Popo?
No, Poppy, the weirdo internet person who became a metal singer.
Oh.
Yeah,
You guys remember wafer rolls?
Yeah.
I forgot how hard those bitches are to open. I bought a can of them at Ollie's. It took me like 15 goddamn minutes to get through all the different layers of tape, but they're good.
No,
I like bottle caps, but they make my stomach upset after I eat a whole box, but I only ever eat a whole box when I buy them.
That's fair.
Is it?
No, Simeon.
Yes, sir.
Poppy did one of the songs for NXT while we were watching NXT.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's where I know her from.
Yep.
She's opening for AFI, who is opening for 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh.
And we're very excited. Hang on. We're very excited to see those two bands and then go home before the traffic gets bad.
Good. For those who don't know, 30 Seconds to Mars is Jared Leto's band.
Oh, I didn't know he was involved with them. I just know them from the best Power Rangers AMB.
AFI
is dope.
Oh, AFI is dope. Zach, you would know them. They did that one entrance for CM Punk.
Oh, what song was it?
One of their older ones, much more before they integrated some pop punk. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Here's the thing. I mostly know AFI from Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
Miss Murder.
I have watched this AMB like 3 dozen times.
I think you've shared it before. I think you shared it on Bluesky before. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
This is the AFI song that is the that CM Punk uses as an entrance.
Mm.
And to the audience listening at home, for context, I just sent a picture of a seal with a hand on it.
I think we're cutting this part out.
That's a pretty good one.
Nope, now we're keeping it. We reference the audience.
That's the thumbnail now.
Start it right when I think we're cutting this part out, and then there we go.
Yeah, so let's fucking start it now. Hey everybody, it's Modular Components, it's Analytical Fanboys, it's kind of a little bit of both. It's a weird one this week. Hi, how are you doing? I'm Boingo. I have some chuckle fucks. Say hello, chuckle fucks.
Hello.
I'm a registered chuckle fug.
Suck me, fuck me, ice road truck me.
Whoa! This is YouTube, man. Calm down.
You got bleeps, you got boobs. I'll be fine.
We don't edit this podcast.
I don't care. I don't work here anymore.
Why are you still here?
This podcast is only for the most mature audiences.
You invited me specifically.
I love how this is already going off of the rails. So hello everybody. Why is this a weird one? Because it's not necessarily part of Analytical Fanboys, but it's kind of more similar to that. Because we all saw Deadpool and Wolverine.
We sure did.
And I have now seen approximately 600 TikToks of people dancing to Backstreet Boys again.
Hell yeah.
We actually all took Buster to a nice spaghetti dinner before we took him out to the most fantastic movie theater anyone could ever go to.
Sure, buddy, sure. That's the cover story. We'll put it that way.
The truth of it is 3 of us saw it in Gainesville and 1 of us saw it in not Gainesville.
Yeah.
Did Buster switch back to male pronouns while I was gone? Did I miss that?
No, I just use any.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was being pretty strict with they, them last time I was here.
It's fine.
All right.
I am sorry.
It's fine. No, just any pronouns works. But anyway, yeah, we saw the latest and only MCU movie of the year. So I guess we could just talk about it. And
it's kind the most MCU movie of the year.
Put that at the back of the box. Yeah, I guess we could just
talk
about...
Is it the last one?
Well, there's not going to be another one this year.
I think there may be some shows.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's like the Agatha show, but who cares?
I'm interested.
I would rather shove my arm in a trash compactor.
Yeah, so I guess we could just use this time to just talk about our feelings towards MCU and Deadpool.
Okay, so real quick, we're going to talk about Deadpool in a moment, but the MCU has done a lot of things in the span of a week, and we're all nerdy guys, so we could probably talk about it.
Oh shit! How did you know?
I looked behind you and saw the Supergirl body pillow.
It's under the bed right now. You can't see.
I know it's there.
I believe you.
Sure,
Now
buddy,
you do.
sure.
So, first things first. Kevin Feige basically went like, yeah, we went into a weird direction. We're rethinking a lot of what we've done.
Yeah, which kind of shows in the movie itself.
Yeah, I say that's more just due to the fact of the anarchic attitudes of Deadpool.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. But
first
big thing, no more Kang. No one was digging Kang, and the actor
They said his story, quote unquote, will end in the next Avengers, which is no longer the dynasty of Kang.
Yep. They're changing that up. The Russo brothers are going to be coming back to direct the next 2 Avengers movies.
That's kind of lame, not gonna lie. I kind of want something new.
Yeah, I agree.
They're the writer who did Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame is coming back. One half of that duo, it's only one of them coming back and doing it.
Better be the good one.
Oh, that's a bit better.
And okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. They have casted one Victor Von Doom.
I'm gonna have to complain about this, aren't I?
Robert
Washing. There, I said it. We're good.
No, I got a lot to say about this.
It's Robert Downey Jr., everybody.
It's the man
Alright.
you like. Look, it's the charismatic, pleasant boy. The redemption story everybody fell in love with. The lightning in the bottle. We're catching it again. Please be happy with us.
It's definitely going to be this man in an alternate reality went to school with Victor Von Doom type shit.
All right, let me just. I love Doctor Doom. I need to read more of his comics, but I love him. So like I like him from like other things. So I just I have a kind of an attachment to him. He's a funny guy. I like him. He's cool. So this kind of hurt me. It just like here's the thing. In like any other scenario where I kinda, keyword kinda, because there's still a lot to this I don't like, kinda be okay with this if he just gotten one, even just one single halfway decent movie adaptation. This man has not gotten that. So we're already trying to change things up to, even though this is gonna be a lot of people's like big introduction or like big like way they're gonna view the character, because nobody reads comics and watches these movies even though they should. It's like in any like I get it if they're gonna like end the MCU soon or like the current fate whatever, and it's like, oh, we want the hero to be the villain. But the way they're going about it is just bad. Not to mention that he's getting paid like a quarter of the like $100 million, over $100 million just to do the movie.
I thought it was
That's
only like 80 million.
Over 80 million. And
It's only 80 million.
No,
Only more money than I've made in my entire life.
Specificity is important. Jesus.
It's only 80 million compared. What's anybody else being paid to work in them?
yeah, like everyone, like various like MCU crew
The coffee
members.
guy gets minimum wage.
Yeah, minimum wage. It's all minimum wage stuff. So it's just that one guy getting paid like basically. Okay, put it into perspective. Avengers Endgame cost $500 million, and if we're going by that is nearly like 1/5 of that movie's budget is getting paid towards this. Like, I think the best way I can put this is, why do we need to watch The Boys? We're watching parody right in front of us.
According to 5 days ago, Robert Downey Jr. to earn $100 million for playing Dr. Doom.
Yep. It just, and that, like, someone put it best. So someone watched Deadpool and Wolverine, like, right after this got announced, and they just felt, this is kind of an omen.
I watched it right before this got announced.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we walked out of the theater and Boingo told it to me, and I was on such a movie high, I hugged him. And now that I've had a few days to think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe fuck this. Maybe I don't like this. Oh no, is this absolute creative bankruptism? I'm not sure.
It's not absolute creatively bankrupt.
So
it's still pretty close.
No, here's the thing. It's not creatively bankrupt. It's business desperation.
I think
Yeah,
the only
it's
thing
the
we
same
could do is
things.
wait and watch.
No, they're not.
I really think the only thing we could do is wait and watch because there's a chance they're just going to pull the rug out from underneath us, and it's going to be the situation of like, whoa, that's the big scary Tony Stark Doctor Doom / not Tony Stark Doctor Doom, and oh shit, there's real Doom right over there.
I would still be
The whole
lame as
time.
hell. Still be lame as hell. Just be like especially because if you're paying that much for just a
Pretty
fake
much.
out.
Robert Downey Jr. has to act the best he's ever done in his entire career to make up for this.
Yes.
Simply.
Yeah.
I want the accent. Give me the accent.
It's got to be the either absolute best or absolute worst choice. And I mean, I get it, dude. Doctor Doom and Tony Stark have been right there, dude. I'm at least interested to put you in perspective of what I feel about it. I am interested with a magnifying glass to watch what happens.
Yeah, it's
either
a
way.
marketing stunt, for better or worse. For
It
worse.
is
It's
a
just
marketing.
something.
It's a marketing stunt, but I also think there is.
It also works right now in this chat because we're fucking talking about it in such a variety of ways.
Yeah.
And that's probably the goddamn point.
Yeah.
That's part of the point. Robert Downey Jr. still has a lot of loyalty to the brand, so even though he is taking a big paycheck, he is doing a favor for more or less. And there is. I said this on the car while we were about to go get some food after the movie and hearing that news of there is some potential logic to the idea because Tony Stark is adopted.
Right.
He is an adopted character.
Right.
And there could be some wishy-washy, hey, the Fantastic Four are in this universe, so because of that, Victor Von Doom was adopted by an American family and changed his name to Tony Stark, you know?
That would suck, though. I don't know. I just... No.
Buster, that doesn't suck. That follows the logic of the universe and the stories.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, but it just feels like you're going off of a gut reaction of ew, gross.
It is gross, though.
I don't...
No
I
matter
don't-
what, this doesn't
No.
give us the Doom I want in the movies. I want the Doom who's a constant problem, who's always around stirring up shit, being Marvel's poster villain. If you're paying that much for RDJ to be in one movie, you gotta at least recast Doom right after that movie in order to keep using him as you really should to get the mileage out of that character that is really in that character. So
I do think,
I
and
don't
I think that's part of what's going to happen. They're going.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, it's a little weird. Buster's completely valid because most people are, I mean, it's like a 50-50 split. And I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm in 50 or 50. Like, I mean, it's interesting. I want to see what happens, but that's not what I want. I wanted fucking like Carlos Esposito or somebody else to like be
no,
Victor
absolutely
Von
not
Doom.
him.
Yeah, he's already in that stupid Captain America movie anyway. So.
Well, before he got put in there.
No,
Yeah.
even regardless of that, definitely not him.
I don't know, yeah.
If you're going to go with an ethnic actor, go with Romani ethnic. Otherwise, do what they did, which is basically, oh, they're from Europe, you can cast a white person. Which that's why it is whitewashing, but like it's not malicious whitewashing, like turning a black character into a white person. It is a very specific. It's a very specific pan-European disregarding of other ethnicities that America specifically has.
Yeah, I mean the MCU has already done that a couple times. So.
Unless they are doing the literal storyline where Doctor Doom and Tony Stark are roommates and they swap brains. That's the only other reason. That's probably what they're doing.
Oh my god, I'm already
Doom
tired, and we
Brain
haven't
Tony
even gotten
Stark
to the
zombie
movie.
body.
You do what?
Doctor Doombrain and Tony Stark zombie body, zombie craze happen again. Revival 2026.
No.
Love it. Look, it's not the greatest decision, and I like there is a lot of really guys with it, but that really guys is just kind of looking at the whole situation of, yeah, I mean, this is kind of everyone's fault because there were some good movies that you just immediately badmouth because it wasn't what it didn't have the characters you wanted, so you didn't give it a shot. So they're going like, all right, they want Robert Downey Jr. back. Let's give him Robert Downey Jr. What would be a cool character for him to play? Oh, Doctor Doom, he can do that.
That still feels a bit like cheap. I don't know how to explain. It just
It
feels a bit
is cheap. They're literally trying to play to the largest crowd possible. It is cheap, but it is cheap in a they're trying to keep this thing going kind of vibe. It's not. They're not being yes. It's all right. We need to get the crowd back. What can we do that? They all love Robert Downey Jr. Let's bring him back. We can't just bring back Iron Man because they'll see that as a more crass move. So let's cast him as a new character. Know who they could have done, and I think everybody would have appreciated it more?
Who?
Galactus.
What is Robert Downey
I'm
Jr.?
like halfway into my Fanta and Jack, so like I think we should move this discussion along.
Yeah,
You're
let's just
right.
actually get to the damn movie.
Wolverine and Deadpool.
Or Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Some other quick things about the MCU. Blade is still technically on track, and they announced a couple other projects. We'll start talking about Deadpool now.
All right, so Deadpool.
Where's
Deadpool.
Okay, first off, before we talk about the third movie, what's our thoughts on the first two?
They're good.
Yes.
They're simple, fun action flicks.
Yeah, I like
the
them
first
a lot.
two is a masterpiece action comedy. It's one of the best movies I've gotten to see on release. The second movie is the rest of the jokes they had to cut out of the first movie, but it's still okay.
I prefer the
Deadpool
second one. Just because it's like just got cable and you got a bit more emotional core, and also just the action is a bit better.
Disagree.
I mean, both. The action in the first two are still really good.
I feel the second one is a good progression from the first one, but I feel that not only has Deadpool given us the best Deadpool on screen, the best representation of that, or most comic book characters, it's also given us the best Juggernaut and the best Colossus.
Yeah,
and I am thankful for that alone.
Colossus in both those movies is like genuinely one of the best things to ever come out of Fox having the X-Men license.
Yeah.
And I won't even complain about him not being around for this one.
And I want to say, because I did say it to both you boys separately at different points during the trip last weekend. Like the Fox X-Men movies in general have like a very special place in my heart because they were one of the two movie franchises that my dad and I made a point of always watching the new one together. It was that and Star Trek for us. And he passed right before he would have been able to see Deadpool 2. So like it's been a little rough watching each successive one since without him, but I'm really happy I got to watch what is essentially the last Fox X-Men movie with my two best buds.
That's cute.
Yeah. And people have been saying it is a giant love letter while also just kind of poking all the fun at the Fox movie.
Yeah. The overall vibe is really just like, hey, we know this wasn't the best, but everybody tried their best, and that counts for something.
No, it's not even about it being the best, because what I don't understand is how are we lacking the ability to see the love? Because
there is a lot of love that they gave to this stuff. It is a 100% earnest love letter to these things, while understandably acknowledging they didn't bat 1,000. Yeah,
and I mean, I guess that is the bit of the truth about it, is that you really do have to have been down bad from day one to appreciate every part of this movie in its utmost way. And so I get it. I get where, like, if you come in off the street and you've never fucking watched a Fox movie or seen a comic book movie, I mean, what does this have to offer you other than some funny dialogue, a good action sequence, and whatever? But if not, if you have been here the whole time and have been waiting patiently for some of these things that happen, I mean, man, I think it's worth it. I really do. I loved this movie, and I've continued to grow my love for this movie ever since I've seen it.
It was a pretty good time.
As someone who started watching Marvel stuff with Blade, hell yeah. We'll get into that. Like, it is that far back of the Marvel love.
Wait, was that like your first Marvel thing ever?
I think I had maybe read some comics and watched some cartoons, but that was the first Marvel movie.
My first Marvel thing ever was probably one of the early Toy Biz Marvel toys before they did.
My memory
cousins
is
were
not that
super
good.
nerd. and they were really into Transformers and Marvel when I was a kid growing up, and they also liked Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So I had all of their hand-me-down, except for that Beast Wars Megatron escaped me. But yeah, he had a bunch of old toys like that, and I had a bunch of Spider-Man toys. I learned a lot about Marvel through like the cards, the toys and the games, and then Spider-Man was like my first locked in. Like you're stuck in this. This is yours forever. Get ready for
I'm gonna have to be the negative Nancy here, am I?
We'll
Go
convince
for
you.
it.
I thought the movie was just fine.
That's fine.
Well, I think you're just fine, pal.
There's some bits I like, some bits I really hated, bits that questioned, and some bits that I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, not gonna lie.
All right, let's fight right away. What did you hate?
The entire
By the way,
plotline of
spoilers.
spoilers if you for some reason you haven't seen it. I don't know, it's the biggest movie in the world right now. I don't know. My big issue comes, a lot of it has to do with the fact that this was made during a strike. You can kind of tell because a lot of the script to me feels like a first draft that they couldn't like revision or cut out things.
See, to me, it felt more like there was so much dialogue obviously inserted in post.
Yeah, I could see that, but I'm talking about like the overall plotting. Like the plot.
I hadn't even thought about that, and I didn't even realize that until this exact moment.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's literally been a sticking point for me when since I heard this movie was coming. I was like, oh, they're making it during the strike. Yeah, not sure.
Well, they started making it, and then the strike happened.
Yeah, but it's still like I wish they kind of stopped. I wish they kind of.
They did
I
stop.
mean, so I guess my only response to that at first would be, this does seem to be a love project from Ryan Reynolds at the very least.
Yeah.
So I could get the push from that respect. At the very least, it is born from a point of non-greed.
Yeah.
So
Like I will say, like I know some people are like mocking the cheap cameos. I actually thought the cameos were like more consistent. I'll explain why later when we can get to that later. I actually did not mind the cameos in this movie.
Here's the thing: the cameos are very important metatextually to the entirety
you're right.
of the movie.
You're right. Yeah,
'Cause they
we'll get to
trade.
that later. But like,
And besides,
trade.
they weren't even cameos.
yeah, we'll get to that later.
There's a couple of actual cameos.
Yes, but I think the ones that everybody's talking about aren't cameos.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll get to that in a bit. But here's my big problem. I feel like you could cut the Deadpool core plotline and the movie would be the same. I just think that plotline was solely there to sell merchandise and to just kind of one cool action scene, and it didn't really fit into the themes of the movie for me. I don't know.
I thought every action
yeah, like the
scene was
Deadpool
pretty
core
cool.
is just around. I mean, it's definitely there just to get some Deadpools on screen that would never, under any circumstance, ever be on there.
Yeah.
In
I bet I
any
did
other
like
way.
the joke at the end where they all
And here's the thing: no, the Deadpool core is integral to the movie. No. Let me put.
Oh, he's boingoing. He's gonna boingo so hard right now. It's happening, guys.
Thematically, the movie is about the creation of the Deadpool franchise within the framework of the Fox movies and the MCU looming overhead. Fundamentally, the Deadpool core represents all the various facets and ways Deadpool can be reinterpreted in a new MCU paradigm, and that the fact that our little misfit, Ryan Reynolds backed guy, is able to beat all of them shows his veracity and importance as a character.
All right.
I think that's probably the problem, and maybe most interesting part about the movie is that no matter what you do or look at, there's always going to be something you can connect from outside sources to this movie, meaning that both in its creation and in the way that you digest it, it's always connected both internally and externally to other things that will have to be understood.
Yeah.
So over time, it might be appreciated or deappreciated for some things.
This movie is going to depreciate almost immediately.
Yeah,
Also,
it already
they did
kind of has for
lampshade
me.
it pretty hard. Like our main Deadpool's reaction to the Deadpool core was literally going like, "Guys, enough with the multiverse shit."
Yeah.
And all that whole speech, I thought was one of the worst parts of the movie, just because it just felt like, man, like I get it, you know, you want to comment on like how you're doing and you want to be like self-aware, but that just felt like a bad form of self-awareness compared to the rest of the movie, where it's just like, just admit you screwed up and move on. Like, don't dwell.
Well, here's
in
the
it.
thing.
Well, no, I
That's
mean
not
that wasn't
Kevin
him
What are
Feige.
you
admitting.
doing? They're admitting they
That's not
screwed
him
up so they
admitting.
can move on with the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Yeah, they're admitting they
They're
screwed
doing
up.
the thing you want them to do.
No, it's just the way they
Why
I
did
was
it. I
are you
didn't like.
surprised
moving?
that they allowed that to be in the movie because this movie was supposed to be the toned down, tone deaf Disneyfication version of Deadpool with
it
no
wasn't.
gore, no sex jokes, and no other nonsense that we expected. And it
And it
was
was the
not that.
it was the most horny.
Most fucks in the MCU.
Was
No.
there even?
What did you want, Buster? What did you want? Did you want actual pegging in this movie?
No. I mean, actually,
Because we got that in the first one.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't mind it in the first one. Actually, that was a funny montage in the first one.
And it was fine. They did reference it in this movie from
No,
the first one.
No, I don't know. I'm still just like more like hung up still on the Deadpool court. I don't know. I just didn't really find it funny.
I mean,
Or, like, interesting.
it is exactly what it is. It is the multitude
So-
of possible Deadpools.
Here, I'll tell you how I took it, because that's all I guess that any of us can do, anyways.
Yeah.
I took it as this: we probably won't get many other type Deadpool things. Ryan Reynolds probably knows that. This was
Yeah.
probably a all or nothing type situation, as what we've learned from like the interviews from Wesley Snipes and others, where like he had people like, because it wasn't a situation of like, oh, we got to try to get Wesley Snipes at the last minute. Apparently, it was a situation of Ryan Reynolds asked Wesley Snipes forever ago, and then worked towards this goal of getting him back in some way or fashion, which changes how I understand some of the things that happen.
Yeah.
But it also feels like, because I mean, for example, for my the thing that I'll take point and issue with, Deadpool is packed in with the Marvel Legends of the regular clothes Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Deadpool in there? Deadpool only had one line. He's only around barely at all.
Yeah,
Gotta
get
it's,
him
it's
a
like
lot.
they there to sell merch. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Well, not so. I didn't take it as they're there to sell merch. While that is obviously going to always be
Cody, this
the
is a
example of it.
question for the Hasbro Marvel Legends team, not the people making this movie.
No.
yeah.
So that's
Deadpool
not
was
why I
there
was.
because he's a fan favorite alternate
Shut
Deadpool.
the fuck up, Chris.
Fuck you.
That's not why I was bringing it up. I was bringing it up because it feels like it's simply just we probably won't get a chance or an opportunity or a reason to put some of these characters on screen. Let's do it with what we can. Let's do now.
All right,
Do
and
now
actually that
how
does
we
lead
can.
to a positive of the movie, I'd say. And like the guest characters, I'll call them guest characters instead of cameos because that's what they are. They're guests. I thought, minus one of them, that the guests were well chosen because they all fit a theme. They're all from the previous era of Marvel movies, and
You don't like Gambit.
no, actually, that's my favorite one.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's
I
my
was
favorite
wrong.
one. I love Gambit because that feels like what you were describing of like that feels like, hey, we're sorry your movie didn't get made Channing Tatum. You get to go.
Right.
You get to be in the. You get to be a guest character. You're in this one, and like the cool part is they get cool action moments. They get character lines. They're characters. They're like even if you don't understand what they are, like in like outside context, specifically like Gambit, because he's from a movie that never existed. They're still like characters. They still do stuff. They have action scenes. Like it's not like the Flash where they just stand around and do nothing. And that's I think like that's a part I really like. Elektra
Well-
was the one I really was like. Did anyone even like her movie? That's what I'm
To
saying.
further that,
No, but she
'cause,
was
like,
good. She played Electro well
Chris.
enough in the Dead. Oh, hold on, can I?
bro, you started after me. What do you mean? Can you
Fine,
go ahead,
No, fuck off.
bitch ass? No, you go.
Hey, fuck you.
Anyways, to further that, what I was going to say is that being a fan of the Fox type Marvel movies at that time and in that era, I mean, when you're grasping for straws and hoping for new things, like I love the Elektra movie, I love the Deadpool movie, or not the Deadpool, sorry, the fucking Man Without Fear. Why can I not remember? Daredevil. Thank you. Like Elektra didn't get a justified end. She got her own movie, but she didn't really get much else. most of those characters didn't really get any kind of like proper send off in a way that we would want. But they referenced Thomas Jane's Punisher a few times and referenced some of the other Punisher. But truthfully, most of the like reception of those movies both were positive. Both the other guy who passed away after he was Punisher and Thomas Jane's Punisher are both considered to be pretty good films and not really talked about in any kind of bad manner. They talk sometimes about the newer one in reference to Thomas Jane's, but
Mhm.
there was definitely a felt presence of the Punisher slash like some sort of Thunderbolts presence slash some sort of like that generation of like movies in this situation. I was happy to see the original actress reprise the role of Elektra because I was like, holy shit, how could they ever? And
And
then
then
we see the rest of them walk in, and I'm like, bro, that's the insane thing to me. Like
here's the
Channing
funny
Tatum
thing
blew my
about
mind, but Elektra, I was like not expecting whatsoever. Channing
yeah.
Tatum blew me out of the water. Elektra, I was like, dude, holy fuck, that's awesome.
Here's the
That's
funny thing about
crazy.
Blade. I did not believe for the whole time it was Wesley Snipes because I was like, no, he's not in this
Right?
movie. It's like I was
No,
like,
I
I
feel
thought it
you.
was like the TV actor because Blade was on. They had a
He
live action
says the
Blade.
Oh,
fucking
because
line,
that
and
guy
you're
in the
like, that's not
background,
him. That can't
because that guy
possibly
in
be.
the background, dude, that guy who was going to be like the TV, who looked like the TV Blade.
Yeah,
Um, that and like the whole like martial Ali stuff and like
yeah,
everything else.
yeah. Like,
I
The
that's not what.
appreciated the fuck out of Blade in this movie. I will
Yeah,
say, like,
yeah,
the pure joke that Deadpool starts talking and Blade just looks at him and goes like, I find you very annoying and I hate you. And Ryan Reynolds just goes like, yeah, he said that last time.
no, he said you
yeah.
always did. You
Yeah.
always did.
Yeah. But like it's referencing Trinity.
And that's not even 100% true because of the recent interview with Wesley Snipes. And that's when he revealed the whole plan of like, he's like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds called me forever ago and said that, he kind of laid it out this way. And and I told him, all I said was, if you can make it work, I'll come back. And he made it work and he
Yeah.
came back.
I will say the only part of Blade I kind of wish they gave him more unique one-liners instead of just repeating his own like some frickers got always ice skate uphill. That was like
Honestly,
Bro,
that I love that because that's the final page of that era of Marvel because that was the most iconic line of the first one, and it's just the continued like if we're talking metatextually, the first guy who was in the Marvel movie, the first one is just looking at the bad guys trying to beat the superheroes and go like, you guys don't get it, we're superheroes, we're gonna win.
if you were writing a comic about some silly characters, you would choose to put their silliest joke as a
fair.
reference
You know,
as opposed
you
to their
convinced me on
goodest
that
joke.
one. I like that line. I just wish like they made
That does
It's
make me think though.
it's a
Has
good
has
line. It's definitely the most nonsensical line out of that movie.
yeah.
has Hugh Jackman ever actually said on screen, "I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice"?
I don't know, but Hugh Jackman is a very good Wolverine, so we haven't even touched
That's
on
that's
that.
Yeah.
another positive about this movie I can give
And
it.
honestly, I think this is the best he's been as Wolverine.
Yeah, I love the
Agreed.
Wolverine like subplot in this movie. Like the Wolverine variants like were pretty cool. It's honestly this is the best the Hulk has been in the MCU.
Fuck off!
Oh, bro, we'll have some words on that one, dude. I'm a Hulk stan for sure. He's
Yeah,
my like first favorite.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I like the Hulk too. I just like the MCU one was okay. You know, not the best, not the worst. It was just okay. But now it's like this one. I'm like just that one scene of just him like knocking over Deadpool. I was like, that's the Hulk I want to see.
I'm very surprised that only one shot that doesn't even really give away much from that montage made it into the trailers. Because like any other company, that you would get like one of those bits of that montage in every trailer, and people would keep coming back to it and being like, "Oh my god, there's so much shit in this movie. They're going to be going to so many different places." And then you get to it and it's just a montage, and that's really disappointing because it's just a montage. But here, it's just a bunch of little surprises for you.
Yeah. The Wolverine thing what kind of confused me. Was that like a popular fan cast?
Yes,
Yes.
very popular.
Holy shit, dude! It was a rumor and a popular thing for so fucking long.
Okay.
And so here is a side appreciation that I think more of this stuff is going to come out over time, but I don't know if any of you have seen it. So for starters, when you see Calverine, he does the like arm thing, left, right, and then claws. But he's always done that as Henry Cavill for
Yeah.
like
He did the
I
arm
saw a
reload
video
from
like
Mission Impossible.
yeah. So like that's a bit of a reference, and then he punches him so hard he flies through a concrete pylon, which is almost as if he hit him with the strength of I don't know somebody from another planet or something. Um, but damn it, dude, hold on, hang on.
It's hilarious because my favorite bit of that is still the first one. Actually seeing short Wolverine. I felt so seen.
Right.
That was cute. That was kind of cute. I wasn't on board. But I was like, the more player. Yeah, that's cute.
Just the
I forgot where I
brown,
was going to go with that.
the
dude.
brown
That
and
sucks.
tan suit though.
Oh yeah, I love the
suit.
brown. Like that suit was really good. And just the suit they gave him like throughout most of the movie was really good. I like.
Yeah,
it.
I've always been a yellow and
Oh.
blue guy, so I'm so
So-
happy that's the main suit in the movie, and that's getting all the figures.
Yeah.
The
real
further
quick,
point I was going to make from Henry Cavill doing the left right thing, the very first time that Deadpool fights Wolverine, he reenacts like step for step the fight between Tobey Maguire and the random bully in the first Spider-Man film.
Oh
It's
yeah, that's
fucking
right.
insane.
People were pointing that out from the trailer.
Yeah, but it's wild. It's wild that
Yeah.
they did that at all, and I wonder what else we haven't picked up on yet because
like
they were obviously layering shit in from like every single level.
yeah, and there's no. It's a Fox love letter, so there's no real Sony productions because midway through the movie, I was like, "Oh man, wouldn't it be hype if like Ghost Rider showed up?" And I was like, "Wait a second, Ghost Rider was Sony. They're not going to touch that guy." Shame.
It is funny though that the whole movie is a love letter to Fox, but it starts with Deadpool going, "Fuck you, Fox! I'm going to Disneyland."
Yeah,
Fox don't exist no more. They don't matter.
Yeah,
yeah, no, but that's kind of the point. It's that just because you can do a thing now doesn't mean that the past is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Deadpool can be in the MCU. He can hang out with Spider-Man and do all the things with Daredevil, and he can show up in Avengers. But that's not
yeah.
the
Thor's
Deadpool.
gonna hold him.
That's not the Deadpool we've been following for the past 2 movies, now 3 movies. He's a little weirdo loner in his universe that doesn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, and I do like how the movie ultimately ends in Deadpool's universe, where it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna vibe here. I don't need the MCU right now. Like,
But that doesn't mean. But it also leaves it and says like, hey, just because you don't need the MCU doesn't mean you can't come hang out when you need to.
Yeah, and it does kind of make like between this and X-Men '97, it does kind of make me hope that like, yeah, like we won't like not every Marvel production these days has to be tied to MCU. It could just be its own little creative thing. So maybe that's an
It's almost like another company that's very detective centric is creating a label specifically for doing things in alternate universes, and that seems like a really good idea.
yeah, some sort of Elseworlds.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish we were talking about the new Batman cartoon. It's so.
People be out here simping for Penguin's mom. It's wild.
I haven't watched that yet.
Neither have I. I've just seen the posts.
I want to
You gotta
watch
get on it. You
Crisis
gotta
on
get on
Infinite
it.
Earth. On Infinite Earth. Crisis on I've been drinking so many. Like y'all don't even know how
Crisis
many
on
beers I've had
low
tonight.
budget, blah 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 blah. Here's some meaningless cameos. That's the real shit.
So
people should
I
be
understand the
harping
third episode to be really good. The first episode was really noticeably bad. The second movie was pretty good and or a standard offering from what I expected from DC animated movies. So I hear the third is better than that, and I've yet to confirm it, but I know that some people do some voices in that, and that'll probably be worth it to watch at the very least. So I'll probably be like,
Yeah.
wow, it's really good because they put some people in here that I liked and I whatever. But
They put the thing on the screen and Cody clapped.
there you go.
All right, let's talk about the actual Deadpool part of this Deadpool movie.
They
I'm
put
mixed
Deadpool
on
on
it.
the screen and I clapped.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the action scenes. Most of the action scenes are good. I'll give you that. Most of the action scenes really good. Jokes about what I expect. I know that not all of them can be winners. Deadpool's very rapid fire, but I think most of them were okay.
Deadpool's also very specifically late 2000s edgy humor. Like, that's always been his brand.
Yeah, and it's not even like I expect that. And also just writer's strike. They couldn't polish up all the jokes.
Well, here's the thing. That's not how Deadpool does polishing of jokes. That's improv. And
Yeah, improv. You know, that's still like you can't improv writer's strike during writer's
you technically can, but at the level... Dude,
Talking about you, Superfly.
you technically can. It's just that Ryan Reynolds improv so much he has to get a writing credit. That's the thing.
I see. Anyway, I don't know. The inner conflict kind of felt a bit forced to me. Like specifically the thing about I'm gonna temporarily break up with my girlfriend, and then
I felt like it was more she dropped him.
She definitely broke. She left him and got with somebody else, and he was
and it weirdly
hopeless.
felt like throwing that character under the bus because they
I
were very.
disagree with that completely. The point was that the whole conflict of them was Deadpool felt like he wasn't valued
enough
as a thing, and thus his self-doubt impeded the relationship. And she was like, "Hey, like you got to be able to, like, I can't fix you. You got to fix yourself. Are you willing to take that step?" And him rejecting taking that step, and him or her going, "All right, I'm leaving." It was that's the conflict.
Okay, you're right. That's basically the conflict of the first movie, just under different context.
it's still like I don't know. Like it just doesn't like. Did we really need that? Like I don't mind. Like you know.
We needed that to solidify a possibility of him rejecting his current role and going to the MCU.
It just needed to be a little bit more clear. We needed more than 2 scenes with them.
Yeah,
the whole flashback was all that. Like you literally hear her say, "Hey, you've been doing dangerous stuff, and you feel like you're in a weird place. What's the deal with it?"
A lot of the advertisements have been doing that because what it seems like has happened is it seems like there was an agreement for funding for the movie. If they do X amount of ads or a certain amount of ads for certain companies, and they 100% shot a lot of those ads on the film set with the film actors in their suits already. Because all of the ads I've seen with like Wolverine and Deadpool and Blind Owl, have been on that set for like all different types of companies. And the only explanation for the consistency of the lighting and the sets is that they did it all in one go.
Yeah, they
in a very similar fashion to
probably how to do that.
Yeah, probably how like Ryan Reynolds pulled a lot of strings to get like B. Arthur on like the Golden Girls shirt and everything like that in the first episode, and Celine Dion and stuff. Like Ryan Reynolds does work for these movies, and I appreciate that at the very.
Yeah,
they do a lot of work to mitigate the low budget, but part of the charm of the movie is working with low budget.
But this is one of the only circumstances where that kind of shit is able to tie in to the actual content of the movie in a way that makes at least me appreciate it in a different light.
That is pretty neat. But like back to I don't know. I also just don't like that. Like, okay, you get like a one scene with most of Deadpool's supporting cast, and then they're just not in the movie. It kind of confirmed the fear I was having, where it's like, oh, this is just the Deadpool and Wolverine show, and it's just like I don't get. Have any of these other characters I got attached to over the last 2 films?
I mean, I have 2
and you're right.
very. Can I? I have 2 very specific disappointments with this movie. There were 2 things I was like, there's no indication we're gonna get this, but God, I really hope we do, and we didn't end up getting those things. And one of them was I wanted to see this Colossus fastball special Wolverine.
And so I've been thinking about you saying that, and we have gotten the fastball special on a few different times over the span of Fox's lineage with Wolverine. So we have gotten it. And so I could see if you were laying out things that you want to do that have not been done yet, I could see cutting a fastball special with Colossus in favor of some of the stuff we did get. I mean, at the very least, in favor of Short King Wolverine or any of the other things.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, but to be fair, I was very excited to see what Colossus was going to do in this, but I wasn't disappointed too much to see that he didn't have too much involvement, because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for him to be around some of these fights other than being where he was.
I also think it makes sense to not have the previous supporting cast because this is Deadpool's journey on his own. Like Wolverine is there, but it's like they are both coming at a very specific point in their lives, and it's their relationship with each other that lets them grow and fundamentally
And continue.
Okay. I thought you had a point that
I was going to add it on to you, but I'll add.
That basically, for lack of a better way of describing it, Deadpool was using his friends as an excuse to not confront the problems in his life.
Okay, oh no, that's it's just still like, I like the supporting cast. I want to see
It's
more.
fine to like the supporting cast, but there's a structural reason they're not here.
I guess. I don't know.
But you're right, Buster. I mean, the time they get is very much the start and finish, and it feels awkward to have them in the start and finish when they weren't really in the middle, even in like a little callback
Yeah.
episode. But I mean, we do get a bit more Blind Owl throughout, so at the very least, they keep the
Yeah.
core household presence there. Because I mean, we know that like a lot of the other characters that were there don't live in his house. So
Yeah.
it makes sense for them not to always be. Blind Owl at least gets that reference, gets talked about, like whenever we get the Honda scene and stuff like that. I don't think you're in any kind of wrong. Because I mean, like I said,
It just makes the
Colossus.
trilogy as a whole feel like, okay, we just made a way hard pivot. Because I'm thinking about this as an end to a trilogy. So
And
here's the thing: it's technically not Deadpool 3; it's Deadpool and Wolverine.
don't pull that bullshit. I mean, it's Deadpool
Oh, you
3.
know that was a purposeful
Deadpool
titling decision on their part, both for marketing and thematically.
what if we get a Deadpool 3?
What if we get a Deadpool 3 now?
Okay, Ryan Reynolds did actually get asked on a talk show the other day, "You doing Deadpool 4?" And he was like, "My wife will divorce me." No.
Yeah, I
Damn.
mean, he really did. Like, they went all in for this,
Yeah,
and I appreciate it. Because, I mean,
it
like,
was
his
a-
wife and his kids are in it, but
they took a big swing with this movie, and I'm like, not all of it hit, but some of it did. Like
I think your mileage may vary is a good way to put it.
yeah.
But if you like comic stuff, you probably will get a pretty good amount of mileage out of it.
And I'm like,
I will say the other thing I really wanted to see was a cameo from James Marsden playing comic book Cyclops, and we didn't get that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But again, they gave us no indication there would be something like that.
That's a big draw.
That was
Looks like
literally
he was
just me
probably
going,
busy with
"Oh
Sonic
please,
3."
oh please, give me my special boy."
My big loss.
And
Go
I don't
ahead.
have to have my special boy all the time. It's okay. We can get special boy in the MCU proper one day.
He's probably busy with Sonic 3 anyway.
So my big loss was no more of the Hulk than what we saw, but it was good. But I understand Universal is shitty. But the bigger loss is no Thomas Jane at all, but a knockoff the Russian.
Yeah, that's
and
a
I
shame.
mean,
Here's the thing: Kevin Nash can't play the Russian anymore. He is way too injured.
Right, but still, I mean, I don't even know what the situation. I could only assume that it must have gotten cut, like some other things that we've seen.
I mean, the
that
guy
have gotten
playing
cut.
Juggernaut in the Mad Max world wasn't the same guy from X3. It was a stuntman / bit part guy from Free Guy.
Right, but so like they talk about the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, and they have the Russian in there as like one of the knockoff guys in a white and red striped shirt, and he's literally just a thing. But I understood him to be that. And they use his AT-4, the rocket launch. So I appreciate the way they talk about him, but it definitely feels like there might have been something going on with them, and especially because we just find out here like 2 days ago that John Bernthal has been being trained by Thomas Jane, or getting like pointers from Thomas Jane for being the Punisher, which is odd.
Maybe it was like, I could do this or I could do that, and he would rather train the new guy.
And it may not necessarily be training. I mean, they're both guys who are playing the same character. They may have different insights that they want to like discuss with each other.
I see it as an even further weird thing because Thomas Jane, while I will never disagree with the quality of that movie, because I very much have a hard on for that movie, and Thomas Jane, it is odd to say training because training implies experience, and the experience is one movie.
One movie and an unofficial short film.
True.
And also,
Unofficial
like,
short film.
being known
True,
as
Chris.
the
That does change a little bit.
being
I
known
mean,
as,
hey, Dirty
God
Laundry's a
damn.
good short film.
It is. I remember the day that happened.
He's also like widely known as like one of the first celebrities to be like, no, I actually really care about and know a lot about this comic book character I'm playing.
He did it good. We didn't deserve him,
No.
and we still don't. I pray for a Thomas Jane in Secret Wars, dude. I will cry tears. A tear will fall from my face if I see Thomas Jane. I mean,
Did you cry for Chris Evans at all? Because I was on the other side of Chris from you. I couldn't see.
Chris Evans being
for
there.
Chris Evans is dope, but I took that as they admitted that they had tried to work that kind of thing in at the end of Deadpool 2 before, that one of the original plans was to try to have Chris Evans come in, and they couldn't afford it. But it's funny that now that with the Disney backing, they could afford it.
And then they
And
make
they
a
even
joke
make the
about the
joke.
budget.
Yeah. And it's we both know that it's true too, that that's probably not even like a joke. He was probably costing them a lot of money just to be in there for what he was. But I think it's fair. And we get to see a OG Fantastic Car not connected to their Fantastic Car. That's just some other Fantastic Car.
And he
Some
just
shit that nobody
casually
else
name
cares about.
drops Reed while explaining what the place is. I
Bro,
always appreciate that kind of shit.
You don't have to. I mean, that's not even a name drop. He's already wearing the Fantastic Four outfit. Like, who the fuck else is it gonna be? Not Reed Richards and Ben Grimm and fucking Sue Storm. Like, no.
No, I
He's
agree.
Johnny Storm.
I'm saying I like how casual and nonchalant it was. It wasn't like, and my scientist friend, Mr. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic with his stretchy powers, he told me it's just, Reed said blah, 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 blah. I like it that way.
Yeah, I appreciate it being. I understand what you're saying. Talked about as if it's another person in this person's life instead of a big time character for us, and we need to understand that the worst evidence or case of that would be probably the Dark Knight Returns. Like, I like your original Robin.
Oh God, no, I'm picking that again. Fucking kill me. Oh.
Okay, I zoned out. What the hell is happening?
No one is a hack.
We've went to Prime. We were in high school comic book debate discussion shit.
All right, let's wrap this shit up. I thought the movie was okay. It was quite fun. It might get better, might get worse. It was getting worse a bit, but like talking to you guys, like, you know, I might like it. I might bump it up to a 6, out of like 10. So we'll see.
Wow.
Definitely the weakest of the trilogy for me, but it's still a fine movie. Nothing offensive in it.
I loved it. I think it's odd for us to be ending the conversation without really going into all the different Wolverine variants. And
we talked about a couple, but we didn't. Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. Holy shit!
No, that was cool.
Oh,
Patch, Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan was cool seeing him. And
Hugh Jackman's acting in this movie, I think, was very good.
Yeah, like we said earlier, one of the best versions of Wolverine.
It was nice to get proper I don't give a shit about any of this Wolverine.
It was nice to get run on all fours.
Actual melee blade-to-blade combat with the claws. Instead of just stab the guy, he fall down.
Really good choreography in general.
In sync.
I mean, Boingo, I'm sure you heard it. For the first time ever when watching a comic book movie in a theater, he pulled down the cowl and I went, yes!
That was a moment.
The fact that it was a cloth cowl behind his head the entire movie, and he pulls it on, and it just turns into the hard plastic prop cowl.
That's
just
what I want. Give me the physics doesn't make sense bullshit of comics. That's what I live for.
If nothing else in that scene, when Deadpool looks over to him, and the way that he reacts, he is truly reacting to how most of us would react to what we've always dreamed of. It's like, oh man, why won't they do the classic Wolverine? You know, I like
you
this
mean that was there the whole time?
Suit. And then it's the suit that we've seen that got leaked from Logan, that got leaked from other movies that like we had always hoped for. And they make the joke like, oh, it only took you 20 years. but it hurts to hear the joke because for some of us, we've been sitting here waiting for 20 goddamn years.
Especially because it just recently came out that the actors for the first X-Men movie did screen test in somewhat comic book accurate costumes, and the studio went, "That looks too cheesy, put them in black leather."
But there's also just the sheer element of this versions of Wolverine, of why he's wearing the costume, of, yeah, I let them down, so I'm holding this marker of heroism that I never felt I lived up to.
Though
One
he
thing
does
we did
also
and
do
didn't
the
do.
stupid thing from Days of Future Past, where he says Scott Jean, and then he calls everybody else by their code name. And I'm like, God damn it, her name is Aurora. Come on. It's not hard to remember.
To be fair, if you're going to talk about people in a place that's long forgotten, you're going to talk about the people you loved and or maybe had sex with by name, and then everybody else.
And there's
he
also
loved and or had sex with both Scott and Jean. So
so this is Polycule Wolverine. Nice.
I'm just saying that if it's out there and it's possible, it's possible.
I mean, at a certain point, every immortal character has to be bisexual.
You just run out of
You
stuff
get
to
bored.
do.
But I also would argue this: mutant kind, your code name is often a chosen name. You know, it's like, it's not
That's
just
true, but do you think Hank really wants to be known as Beast for his whole life?
I mean, here's a question: do you think I'm going to be called Boingo when I'm 80? The answer
Yes.
is yes. Like that's just how it works, you know.
Okay, Grandpa.
And in some ways, that is kind of the queerness of the X-Men, you know.
I get what you mean.
Fair.
Also, I forgot to mention my favorite quote-unquote guest character was X-23. I thought that actually.
I thought you were going to say she was your least favorite because she doesn't go with the theme of being from old Fox movies nobody remembers.
Well,
she goes with the
she's my
theme of,
favorite because she's
Wolverine.
actually relevant to Wolverine's story, and it's like they get a great moment. She gets great scenes in this movie.
Yeah, she's relevant to Wolverine's story. The other three are relevant to Deadpool's story.
Yeah.
I love how Daphne Keane consistently only does very prestigious indie stuff or hyper specific nerd stuff. And so she's either completely out of my field of vision or right in front of it. And whenever she comes into it, she just knocks it out of the park. I've got to get into more art house films just for her, I think.
Bro, we better see a full red or a full blue and yellow with a red X suit of her X-23 in Secret Wars. We gotta.
We'll see. We'll see.
It would be cool, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
We'll see.
I'm scared of it. Truthfully, I'm too scared. You can't. I see repetition and I see trends and things that have happened over years, and so very rarely do you get things right twice.
Yeah, Secret Wars is gonna be a tricky thing. I mean, already Doomsday's already fighting an uphill battle with me because of the whole Doom. But
Now, so to further that part, something that I forgot to continue on earlier. The whole point of the whole thing they were doing with Kang, truthfully, is kind of pulled from a Doctor Doom story anyway. So it might work better in this way than it did as a Kang story.
Yeah, because
they were totally adapting Battle World, which was not a Kang story, as a Kang story.
Yeah. And here's the thing: they're doing multiverse. I saw one fan thing of basically this is he could be the Doom for that movie, and then the real Doom, the Doom that's going to be for the Fantastic Four flicks, versus that read for the more longevity of the franchise, comes in and goes oh, so your Doom, what's the whole deal? And he's like, oh yeah, no, I got all these things and did all this. You got help?
Bro,
truthfully,
he's either going to be treated as nothing or he's going to be treated as everything. And depending on which thing is going to depend. Oh, that's funny. But depending on which thing, it's going to depend on,
which Ben Grimm.
What quality? I mean, yeah, it's coming down to the thing. I only give a shit about the thing. Show me the thing.
I've started watching The Bear, and the guy who they got to play the thing.
I know him very well. He was a Microchip as well. So the guy's a good actor.
Yeah, he's good. I'm excited to see him.
Wasn't he also in Andor?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I like. Oh,
before we give final thoughts on the movie, one thing I want to say: Channing Tatum did a really good job as Gambit.
Yes.
I already talked about him, but yeah, he did.
just coming in and shoving a big old dirty sock in the mouth of every fanboy who's been bad mouthing him all these years.
Here's like that's the thing. Is like this is a sequel to Deadpool 2, but it's also an entire metatextual commentary on nerddom, fandom, the movie making process, Fox, MCU, all of it.
It's
You know?
something we've never seen before in a way of that it's a very specific tailor-made movie, both by the people making it and for the people watching it, that in some ways might not live on, be properly understood without deep lore. It is
It's
solidified itself as a deep lore movie made for deep lore people,
it's
paid
something
for by corporate
unpredictable,
America.
but in the end, it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
What is that reference
That
to?
genuinely made me cry.
Same.
That's a reference to the end credits Green Day song.
Okay.
Where they showed all the behind the scenes footage of them making the Fox movies, and it's just like they really did. Things got in the way, but they did try.
And so that's the whole thing, though, is that like in thinking about it in reference to that, like thinking about like me back then, like all I used to care about was Spider-Man and X-Men. I didn't give a shit about Iron Man. I used to not give a fuck. I mean, I always loved Hulk. I like the second I saw Hulk, I was like, wow, that guy's awesome. But it was always like Spider-Man and X-Men because that's what Fox gave us and that's what we got, and like that shit, like the toys were dope. The toys bred into like the furtherment of Marvel Legends. Like if it wasn't for X-Men and Marvel, if it wasn't for X-Men and Spider-Man specifically, pretty much at most big turning points in Marvel history, like we wouldn't have like a continuation of Marvel. X-Men and Marvel and Fantastic Four have like interchanged as a vessel to continuously come in and be like, hey, I know you guys have like kind of like fucked up a little bit, but hey, just to remind you, people like these characters and love the stories, and like somehow when using these characters, they're able to write some of the best stories out there. Here they are. Watch out. But
I mean, if it wasn't for X-Men and Spider-Man, Marvel Comics would have went defunct years ago.
To paraphrase, every story, every version of every character is someone's first, and because of that, they all matter.
Mm-hmm. I think Kojima put it best. I think his review really touched on those themes.
I
Yeah.
did like his review.
Yeah.
And honestly, that says a lot. Getting the Kojima paragraph.
Yeah, like it was just a well written. It was just well written a couple paragraphs. Like even I'm not like I'm not like the biggest Kojima like movie review. I don't always look forward to his movie reviews. I'm just like that's just a good that's just good reviews.
I like Kojima, but like usually his movies sum up to either like he likes it when he says a couple words, or if he says, I saw this film, that probably means it's not a super great film, but he doesn't want anything bad about it. But he did something different for Wolverine and Deadpool, and I think we've also been doing.
I mean,
Yeah.
We
here's the
normally
thing.
trash on or shit on or left or right or whatever, but
We
this
also
movie is
haven't
just a
talked
little bit
about the
different.
villains at all. I just realized that.
We
Sandra
have.
Nova.
I
Sandra
tried
Nova's
to
great.
bring her up. Like, truthfully, that's probably one of the biggest issues about the film. She's not really there for anything but to be like there had to be a
That's
villain.
scary. I
But,
mean,
like,
here's the thing. That's kind of all she is in the comics.
Yeah.
She's there to be a
Sandra Nova's
boogeyman.
always been kind of a lame character.
She served her purpose all right. The actress did a fine job.
now the
the
effect they
actress
did with
was
the
great.
hand was phenomenal, and the actress was great. Yes, you are correct. But the visual effect and the threat level that we got to feel from her was real. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Pyro is still like just pitch perfect best head henchman.
Toad was there.
Yeah.
So they got fucking Ray Park back for like one scene as Toad.
And we didn't see his penis. I
Hooray!
have seen his penis, but we
It
didn't
was
see
a
his penis in
miracle.
this movie. I have seen his wiener before, and I'll never forget it. But we didn't see it in this movie, so that's good.
I literally I made that joke in the car and I didn't think of it, but now because you made it when I wasn't expecting it, I am thinking of it. Thank you, Cody.
Right.
There's also another element, Paradox as a bad guy, which realistically, as a bad guy, he just represents realistically Disney executives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought I really like the actor because he's in Succession, and
He did really good.
Oh my
He
god,
did
Mike
He was good.
Stoklaska is on the podcast. He said
How
the
about
exact
seeing
same
the,
thing in the half of the bag,
I
Buster.
haven't watched Half in the Bag yet. I don't really watch their Half in the Bag on modern movies. So.
I did also appreciate the chubby guy being secretly like attracted to Deadpool and Wolverine.
It was
and,
not
like,
that big of a secret. It was not big.
No, it
No,
was.
well, not. But like, I just appreciated that exchange because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's a Disney product, and sometimes they shy away from shit like that. and
Like
this is,
I
a
said
big
earlier,
difference.
this is the horniest Deadpool's been.
Yeah.
I mean, he constantly like puts his hands on Wolverine, and he's like, "Fucking stop it!"
I mean, the fight scene in the Honda Odyssey ends in basically
It's a
How
fucking
is-
sex scene.
how a
That's
sex
the
scene ends.
wildest example of like what they have done to guarantee like funding for the movie.
That product placement. My God.
I've never seen anything like for product placement like that before.
Oh,
It's like they shit
Cody,
on
let
that
me tell
directly.
you about a movie called Power Rangers 2017.
Oh
Bro.
my God.
You don't have to tell me about it, man. I was at the fucking pitchforks for that movie. I'm pretty sure we were doing. No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
we've talked about it before.
What are you talking about? Power Rangers 2017 is so underrated, and it
All
really
right,
deserves a
I'm muting
sequel.
Simeon. I'm muting Simeon.
Any
Okay.
goddamn property that takes the perfect design of a robot and just shits directly on it can eat my direct ass. You're not
Okay.
going to take one of the single best designs of a robot or mech or whatever and just be like, well, we have perfection right here. We could bastardize it. We could copy it. We could do whatever. Let's go ahead and throw it out and think
Yo,
that we
what
can
if
do
this
better.
mammoth had 6 legs? What
What
about
if it
that?
was gold? What if nothing? What if absolutely nothing? What if we made a nothing burger of a movie? What if we did that?
What if obligatory Transformers joke? What if Kanye West on the soundtrack?
Oh no! All right. You what?
Okay. So
Aye.
Buster gave their thoughts.
Yeah.
6 out of 10, which we have progressively convinced you is a little bit better than you may have originally thought.
Or have unfortunately forced you to at least agree with because you're valid to have your own hate
Yeah.
disdain for this
True.
movie because
Here's
we
the thing.
are all
When you were
different ages and have different
Yeah,
perspectives
don't worry,
of
Buster.
this
It's okay to be
property
wrong
regardless.
sometimes.
Yeah, I know you're wrong.
Each one of
sometimes,
us except
too.
for maybe me and Chris since we're the same age and of the same raising similarly.
we're the same reason.
Same race. That's funny.
We're
That's a
both
funny way.
raisin.
All right, continue.
Yeah, you guys are both Floridian. That's a noted race.
We're
now.
both Floridians and grew up together and like similar things.
Yeah.
So we have the closest to that.
Yeah.
And are the closest of age, but like we are different ages between us and you, Simeon, and us and you, Buster, which unfortunately does change things for the overall scope of the movie,
Because
but not too much.
Because a lot of the movie is kind of about metatextual, like real world stuff going on behind the scenes for movies that you were probably way too young to even understand the concept of behind the scenes stuff.
And that doesn't mean that you have to appreciate it or that you're invalid for thinking of it, because the truth is, if you didn't bother or weren't around for that shit, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
And it means
Like-
nothing to you.
Like
But
we got
to some
so
people, it does
fucking
mean
hype.
something.
So
We got
fucking
lucky.
hype, but Channing
No, we
Tatum.
got lucky. Simply to some people, they are lucky with this movie. To
Mhm.
some people, it is a movie.
Like honestly, in the future, I think you need like a 30-minute documentary about the history of the Fox movies up to
Oh
that
shit, we
point.
just found Boingo's next lecture.
All right, put that on the Blu-ray. Put that on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, put it on the Blu-ray. Like, hey, for people who don't understand the context, here's why Channing Tatum is Gambit. It like if you aren't aware, it seems like a random ass thing, but no, Channing Tatum was trying to make a Gambit movie for years, and people
The
gave
first
him
role
shit,
a lot of people saw him in was a terrible Gambit.
and they thought it wouldn't be good, and they thought it would be bad. And
Channing Tatum was Gambit before.
no, he wasn't Gambit in X-Men Origins.
I thought he was.
Nope,
No, he was
not
not.
in that. But basically, everybody thought, oh, it wouldn't be good, and then he comes in here and does a pitch perfect Cajun accent.
Deadpool
Great.
has given us two very strong comic examples on screen of X-Men characters. Sorry, three,
Oh,
because
that
I'm going to
was
count
Taylor
Wolverine.
Kitsch. Okay.
So we got Gambit, Colossus, and Wolverine. if you're gonna get some right characters, because I mean, we don't really need to get Storm right because she's kind of been done right. I love Halle Berry Storm. So
She could have been
that's
given more
good.
to
Hard
work with,
disagree.
but that's about it.
Hard disagree.
Right. And I mean, Professor X is a pretty good casting, and Magneto's a pretty good casting.
Oh yeah,
So to
both
get a
of them
good
are good.
Colossus, to get a good Wolverine, or
We
a
just
more
need a good. We just need that.
final Wolverine.
We need a happy-go-lucky Southern Belle rogue.
And I feel that like that this Gambit did tie a little bit into 7. We don't have to get into, but I feel like it,
but there's vibes.
But Buster, I don't want you to feel like that. Whatever you felt before going into this podcast, if
You know
you
what? I
genuinely
think-
feel
I
different,
think-
that's fine.
I think
But
I have
don't
a
feel
way.
different because we feel.
I think I have a way to describe it. This is a sequel to a movie Buster never watched. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like I can kind of see it. Like I was expecting, like, oh, this is a sequel to Deadpool 2. No, this is a sequel to something else.
It's a reference. It's built off of experiences Buster didn't get to have.
Yeah.
It's a
So
love letter to Fox, and for a lot of us, there was a time where there was no MC, but we prayed for comic book characters to be mainstream and to be loved in like the modern eye. And
Like,
to
here's
see
the thing.
big spectacles, and then
I-
you got that with Elektra and Deadpool, X-Men.
I will still go to bat for the Fantastic Four movie, the first one at least.
You better
Agreed.
not go to bat for Cloud Galactus.
No, the first
Yeah.
Fantastic Four though.
Speaking of, I thought that was Galactus, but they never like the Cloud guy. That was clearly supposed to be Galactus, right? From the
No, it's Goliath.
Deadpool literally says from Loki season 1, episode 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's Goliath from the Loki series.
Yeah.
The whole space they live in.
I haven't watched Loki. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, there's a
Bro,
lot of
you
little
missed out
references.
on a good bit of contextual
Lore,
needed clues for this movie.
But also, I do appreciate how it feels like they were like super in continuity with Loki. Like cool. Yeah, hell
But
yeah.
see, but to directly backtrack, that is an issue. So we just like tried to like fucking like almost shun Buster for not understanding the Loki ties and references. But again, I mean, some people, most of
I
us
mean, I
don't
might
want to
have
have
come
to
off that
fucking
way, but
have
that
a.
was not the intention. I was just trying to correct/explain.
True.
I know.
I'm
I
being
get it.
vicious about it. I'm being vicious with the words on purpose. But like, I mean, some people and some art shouldn't need 1,000 different like fucking homework pieces to enjoy the thing. And if I'm coming into it naturally right now, brand new, and you tell me like, oh well, to properly understand this, you need to watch this, and be alive at this point, and fucking be around for this. And I mean, well, fuck, I don't give a shit.
Here's the thing. I not every piece of art needs to be like that, but it's okay for some pieces of art too.
Yeah.
We are lucky. We are lucky that some of us can
I
get more out
definitely
of it than
agree,
other
Cody.
people.
Like that is something I go to whenever I see comic fans going that like this thing in this current run doesn't line up with this comic from 30 years ago. I'm always like, well, yeah, but they probably rebooted like 3 times since then, and who cares anyway? It's all just stories with characters built off the same template of what this writer remembers from reading them growing up. Like, don't get too precious about it.
But I'm just saying, for like what we just did to Buster and like in that reference, like that, while half shows us saying one thing, it also half shows a glaring issue with the movie, and I think that is a very valid issue. Like, if
Well,
you
and
weren't
it's
about it
also-
always, there's going to be missing things and missing pieces in this movie.
And
that
these
just don't
Deadpool
make
movies
sense or
have always
land.
played fast and loose with the Fox continuity anyway. Because
Yeah,
there's like.
I didn't mind that, like that part. I just like I don't know.
Yeah, they said it in a brief sentence that you just didn't remember. You know.
But this was not fast and loose because you had the actors reprising roles, lines from other movies, references to things that had nothing to do with either. Like, you could have been a Blade nerd and a Deadpool nerd, and if you were only a Blade and Deadpool nerd, you wouldn't have gotten the reference of the "you never really liked me" type shit from the Blade and Deadpool thing if you didn't know the background of the rumor of that whole. Like, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm
I
saying.
didn't realize it until Boingo like said it back to me as we were leaving.
Yeah, and when they were filming Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes had various spats with Ryan Reynolds and did not show up on set several times.
But that's all we're saying is that like.
Yeah,
This
I
movie
get
is
it. I
something
think
for everyone and maybe something for no one.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But hey, it's got people talking. It's making a bunch of money at the box office. Might be the biggest movie of the year. We'll see.
Oh my
But
God, are
Buster,
movie
is it
theaters
better than some of
saved?
the
Did
other
we
Marvel
save movie
movies?
theaters again?
Inside Out 2 kind of did. Seriously, that movie's made so much money. It's like the highest grossing animated film ever now.
Yeah.
I want to
That's
see
probably
it.
true.
I haven't seen
My
it.
mom literally asked me if I wanted to go see it with her when I came downstairs for dinner. I was like, "Did you see the first one, though?"
The first one was pretty good.
Yeah.
But Buster gave their thoughts. Cody, what are your thoughts on the movie as
I think
as a
Cody
whole?
already gave his thoughts.
Cody, give a rating out of 10.
I grew up looking up to Wolverine / Hugh Jackman, so I loved it.
Hell yeah. Simeon?
So I've kind of already explained the sentimental angle with these movies for me, because it took a long time in my life for me to care about what some people would consider the actual X-Men, the comic X-Men, the 97 cartoon X-Men. And I've come around to that in recent years. And there's always been that part of me that's kind of like, well, how do you reconcile the two? Because I kind of do like the X-Men being their own thing, but also I've grown to appreciate them interacting with the Marvel Universe. And this as a last hurrah of the X-Men cordoned off in their own little corner, while also being but all this other stuff, some of it I didn't even grow up with. I didn't even have that kind of attachment. I don't have the same attachment Cody does to the Ben Affleck Daredevil movies. I didn't find out about them until years later, and it was through the comic shop. Oh, can you believe they made these things and they were so inaccurate kind of discussion. So I never really had a chance to love them. But getting to see some appreciation for that stuff was really nice, as well as all the other little bits and member berries scattered throughout. And overall, I thought it was just a really cohesive, fun popcorn flick with a little bit of heart dashed in. And I'm very happy that I made the drive down to watch it with you boys, as I said earlier, and I think this is one of those select MCU movies that is gonna always be in the top tier for me because of certain bits of attachment I have for it. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
Hell yeah. I
And
don't.
Chris is giving it a hailed out of 10.
No, that was just an alarm. I need to turn that one off. I genuinely loved this movie. There's a lot for me to love about it, just because of the way I enjoy learning about stories and comics and all that kind of stuff, the interconnected aspects of all of it, and yada yada yada. It really tickled that part of my brain of seeing what all the references and can be and how that affects and tells the story. It is really good. And like we've been saying, you kind of need a little bit.
The problem
need
is
background.
there could never be a definitive it is this or it is that, because there is so much going on in this film.
Yep.
I thought this was Chris's final thoughts.
Sorry.
No, I interrupted him enough. He can interrupt me as many times as he wants.
Okay.
Mouth kisses, Cody.
Wow.
Gay.
It is really good. A very definitive button on an entire group of people trying their best to put out some movies, despite what market research and executives and what their own self-doubts and doubts of the material might have told them to do differently. Thoroughly well put together for the budget that it had, and I am glad that it exists. So yeah,
So now let's talk about all the comic stores we went to, guys.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Wow.
No, I think Buster wants to go to bed.
Kinda. I don't know where I want to go right now.
You want to go to Ram Ranch?
No.
Where there may or may not be.
The guy who created that song has turned out to be kind of creepy.
You want to go
don't
where the
tell
people
me
are.
that. No.
You want to go
Break
where
my
it's all the
heart.
same.
It's
You want to
11:02
go
p.m.
where
in
everybody
Florida.
knows your name.
You tell me I got to take that off my Spotify playlist, dude? That sucks, dude. God damn it. That fucking
I tried
sucks.
to
I'm
say what I
looking that
did.
up right now, dude.
But
I don't know why I even care. I'm like the fucking Batman part-timer here now.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Buster, tell the people where they can find you.
I do YouTube
Oh.
videos at Buster Corp, where I analyze and do my own podcast on various things I'm into. What things? Find out. Just go there. I don't know. I'm
You
also on Twitter
anal-sized.
at Buster Bluey 3. I also occasionally post at Bluesky. I'm also on Patreon. Go linky links. Ooh, fancy.
Hey Cody, tell the people where they can find you.
I can't be found or perceived. I don't exist. Continue. Never_robot at Instagram.com.
I'm Boing a Writer. You can find me on a variety of places. You can find me on YouTube at Boing a Writer. You can find me on Bluesky at Boing a Writer. You can find me on Twitch at /Boing a Writer. Search for me and you'll usually find me. And our special little guest, can they find you? Really?
You can find me outside, chilling, grilling, a little bit of illin, posting the occasional action figure photo on Instagram.com at Simeon Scott with an underscore in between the names and zeros instead of O's, because it's still 2008 in my heart.
And this has been a podcast created by Modular. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey, remember to like and comment if you're on YouTube and follow us on your podcasting platform of choice. And I hope you enjoyed this. Does anybody have anything they kind of want to say?
For the love of God,
I
turn
think
this
my
shit off
earbuds
because
are
I
crapping
need to
out.
talk about what I've seen. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
We're
Turn it
done.
off. Turn it off.
Go
Go
home.
home. Go home.
See your wife and children. Hug your parents. Tell them you love them.
Go home.
Literally pull them out. Why are they not?
Because I'm waiting for a moment that's good.
End it.
Are
We're
you saying
begging.
our moment,
Please,
our
literally
bits
end
are
it.
good?